Woo! Hello, she is the music. My name is Kenny Beats. I'm here today to just show you a couple things that are super useful to me that I do every day. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into it. For me, when I'm making music, I make music with a lot of different types of people. I like making music in person. I'm not really the send beats kind of guy. So when I'm with people, I kind of have to be ready for anything at any given time, and I need to be able to make that feel fun and exciting and interesting. So if someone comes in and they're a singer-songwriter, if someone comes in and they want a beat, if someone comes in and they make whatever style of music, I need to make sure I have something applicable to them, and then I can get to it and manipulate it really fast. So how do I do that? Number one. Let me do a little knowledge bomb. Hold on. Okay, number one. The first thing is having a bunch of material on your computer to work with. Where do you get stuff from? How do you get stuff? Do I have to pay a bunch of money? The easiest places that you will see every producer reaching for to get sounds from are places like Splice, places like Reddit, sites like Drum Broker. There's a lot of different things. But the point is, you want to have as many different sounds, drum sounds, synth sounds, random old movie samples, whatever it might be on your computer. So that day, if you're in the studio and you're producing for someone or you're producing for yourself, and they say, or you say to yourself, this is what I'm trying to do today. I want to make this style of music, or I want to do something in this tempo, or I want to do something that is reminiscent of, you know what I mean, something from this era. You need to have a lot of different access to a lot of different sounds. So getting a membership to something like Splice costs a couple dollars a month. I think it's under 10 still. And there's millions and millions and millions of samples, and you can go on there and literally just search pop drums, rock drums, drum loops, whatever it may be. It's like the Google of samples. So if you're trying to figure out what you need for your track, as long as you know the name of it, as long as you know I could use some percussion, I could use some more like vocal chops, it could use whatever it is, you can go to Splice, type that in, and there's 1,000 packs. So if you're making that much stuff where you need that many samples, it might be worth it to do that membership. Besides that, a free thing they might not want me to tell you about is Reddit. On Reddit, there's this forum called r/drumkits. On r/drumkits, you can get any free cool thing that everybody's using right now. Is it illegal? Maybe. Don't overthink it. I'm pretty sure it's just a lot of kids either ripping stuff out of songs they like or kind of just combining samples from other packs that they've gotten in the past to get to something similar to, let's say, a new Ariana song, a new Drake song, a new whoever the most popular person is. But if you go to r/drumkits right now, you can go see all the stuff on the new Meg Thee Stallion single, all the stuff on the new DaBaby single, all the stuff on the new Uzi single, whatever it is, and you can get all those sounds. So let's say you've done some digging, you've gone on YouTube, you've gone on Splice, you've gone on Reddit, you've gone to all these places, and now you've collected a whole bunch of sounds on your computer. Once you have all these sounds and you're in the studio with someone, let's say the artist walks in and says, okay, just pull me up a drum loop. I'm gonna play some piano. Or let's say the artist comes in and says, can you just pull me up like some piano, some keys? I wanna write to something. What do you do now with all the samples that you have on your computer? And how do you turn them from just a bunch of random audio at different speeds and different keys that's all over the place from different genres into something that works cohesively together? That's what we're going to talk about in Ableton today. So the main word of the day, I guess, would be warping. Today we're going to learn about warping. Today we're going to learn about how to warp anything you have on your computer, anything you've downloaded from anywhere, into the speed you need it into the key you need it into whatever you need. Basically, we're gonna learn how to just put something into any song, no matter what it is, in Ableton. And if you're using Ableton, it makes it a whole lot easier, I'm not gonna lie. Here's how I would start. So let's say we're looking at Ableton, and someone says, okay, can you pull me up just some keys? I just need some piano or some keyboard or something to start writing to, whatever it may be. This could be a guitar loop. This could be anything on your computer. The idea is, how do we get something random and how do we put it in time, put it in key? So let's say you hear the artist singing and they're kind of singing ba-bum, do-do-doom, do-do-doom, do-do-doom. Kind of know what the speed is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You can go right up to here in the top corner to your tap tempo button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just keep clicking it until you start to see a pretty consistent number. Okay, I can tell that's about 145. So I can see this artist is already kind of singing something in 145. Let me just put the beat in 145 and then I'll already be in sync with them. So now we need to find some keys. I'm just gonna look up keys on my computer, and I have way too much stuff on my laptop, but let's just see what comes up. Here's some keys. Okay. Here's some keys. They sound cool. I think they're gonna fit the vibe of what this artist is looking for. Let me drag them in. We're lucky that this sample says 80 BPM on it, but we know we wanna be at 145. So how do you get this to fit where we're at? That's where warping comes in. What we're gonna be looking at a lot is right down here. This is the menu that pops up whenever you double click a sample. So anytime you take a sample and you drag it right into your Ableton window, once you double click it, this window is gonna pop up. Say you're clicked somewhere else, you know what I mean? There might not be a warp window. If you're looking for this window, just take the sample you wanna warp, double click it, this pops up. Once you have this down in the corner, you can click warp right now, and what that's gonna do is keep all of this timing exactly how it is. So if I move the tempo any which way, it doesn't matter. It's gonna keep this exact timing. But we don't want that. We want this to fit the timing of the beat that we're working on. So we're gonna type in under the BPM right down here in this little segment, we're gonna type in 80, because we know this is at 80 BPM. Now that's really fast. 80 to 145 is a huge difference. But the way BPMs work, the way tempos work, if something's at 70 BPM, it's also at 140 BPM. Double time, half time, doesn't really make a difference. So if we take this and we put it at 160, fits perfect. So originally, this loop was this fast and didn't fit with our tempo at all, but we liked the feel of it, so we took it, we warped it, we set the BPM right here to the original BPM, and then all of a sudden it's in the exact speed, tempo that we need it to be in. So right here, I'm just clipping the loop button so I can just loop this. We'll keep staying at 145. Now, another thing you can do with warp is transpose. So with this transpose knob right here, you can now put this in any key you want to, high or low. So let's say we want it to feel really, really, really high. We'll go 8 up. Cute. Now let's say we want to go a little meaner, a little darker. We'll go 4 down. Cool. I think that's more the vibe we're going for. The point is, no matter where the person you're working with is singing, no matter if you're dragging in a loop to work with another loop, this button right here, this transpose knob, you can move it into any key you need to. So this now allows us to take almost whatever we want from anywhere on our computer, put it in the right speed and put it in the right key as this. So let's say you have these keys now. Person's writing to it, starting to get an idea of where you want to go. How do you make this more interesting than just some loop of keys, you know what I mean, that lasts forever? Drums. So let's look up a drum loop, and we're going to do the same process. Doesn't matter what tempo it's in, we're going to make it our tempo. Okay, I think those could be cool to start. We might want to add things later. We might add our own clap, our own snare, our own percussion, but for now, just using some of these loops to catch a vibe, to start feeling out what this tempo feels like or what this key feels like, that's the main focus. So let's drag in this drum loop. This drum loop's at 143. So we're at 145. So we're going to click warp, and then we're going to type in the BPM, the original BPM of the sample, 143. Beautiful, fits perfect. So instead of leaving it at this exact key that it was in, I think these drums might hit a little harder if we bring them down. So let's bring the drums down now, -3 with the transpose. So this is how they were. We could even go lower. Let's go -5. Now let's say we like how this sits. We like where the keys are at. We like the keys -4. We like the drums -5. Seems to be a good vibe, but this is feeling a little too slow now. So let's just take the tempo and go to 150. The beautiful thing about the fact that you already warped all this stuff is that now it's going to stay exactly where it is. So if you go or this applies to everything. So anything you drag in, once it's warped, once you have the correct BPM and once you figure out what key you want it in, you can move the tempo, you can move anything you want, and you're locked in. Only other thing I'll say for today, just to keep everything sounding the best it possibly can, when you start stretching stuff, so say I stretch this really, really low. Or let's say I stretch it really high. Sometimes when you start stretching audio in any DAW, you have these things called artifacts. The audio starts kind of breaking apart and getting a little gritty sounding, which isn't always what we want. The way to get away from that is your warp mode. So there's a whole bunch of modes down here. Anytime you click a sample, it's going to be warped to something. You can always select a different mode. Beats is really good for beats a lot of the time. So if you're doing drum stuff, beats normally works. In this case, I'm going to leave them at complex because they sounded good at complex. But in general, if you're doing something melodic, if you're doing something with vocals, if you're taking some loops or keys or anything that isn't a drum and you're trying to warp it, I'd personally recommend Complex Pro. What I do myself is I either put the envelope all the way up or I put the formant all the way up. You can test and see how it sounds. But listen to the difference if I have it on beats mode. It's focused too much on the rhythmic aspect of it rather than making it smooth. Complex sounds smooth. So really, that's it. Drag something in. If it tells you what the BPM is, you know what I mean? All you have to do is type in that BPM right here and it's going to be locked in. If you can't get it to the key of something you're working on or you have a loop and you really want to put it in your song, a lot of times if you mess with this transpose knob and you mess with the BPM, once everything's locked in, you can fit things together you would never imagine go together. And that's how a lot of music I make and a lot of my favorite producers make a lot of stuff, is unexpected combinations of stuff in your computer sometimes you didn't even know you had. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope this has been something that helps you further down the path as an artist or further down the path as a producer with people you're working with. But either way, it's something I do every day. It's something that I couldn't go without. My name's Kenny. I hope this was helpful. If you guys need anything from me, you can always hit me up, and I'm streaming all the time talking about this exact kind of thing. Shout out to you guys. Good luck. I'll see you soon. Be safe.